Hello, hello, hello. Jasper, what's up? Can you guys hear me? First time streaming here on the YouTube side. So just want to make sure you guys can hear. You should see that. I think we're all good here. I think so. Hello, Jasper. Hello, Bakir. Soccer training and more. Wrong anger 8 N1. How you doing, N1? It's been a minute. How you doing? Junior Murphy, what's up? I should be coming over right now into the camera. I've not streamed on the YouTube side, so it's first time doing that. So I hope you guys are doing good. But we're doing an F124 showcase today because I've had the game now. Double U. Hi, Zroski. How you doing? Bulls Gaming. But yeah, it's been a minute since I've actually been live in general, but let me get things rolling here. I got my triple monitor setup going now, and I need to pull up the chat on my phone because it just works better when it's on my phone. I can see it better. But we're showcasing F124 today, and I have quite a few opinions on it because I've been playing it now for 5 or so, maybe 4 or 5 days. And I got quite a few opinions on it. I've been seeing other creators' opinions, and they're kind of in line with my opinions as well. I think everyone kind of has the same idea around it. But I'll answer some of your questions here as time goes on. So how much are you allowed to show? So I'm allowed, first of all, I'm only allowed to show 2 hours is all I can do. So I'm kind of stalling for a moment here because I don't want to just dive straight into it because I'm only limited to 2 hours. So we'll be going in like a few minutes. But I can also, it's kind of weird. So in time trial and Grand Prix mode, I'm only allowed to show 4 tracks: Jeddah, Qatar, Spa, and the new Silverstone. So basically all the tracks that got updated is all I'm allowed to show. And then in career mode, I'm allowed to show everything, including the tracks, which is weird. But I uploaded a video about an hour ago, and it kind of gives you the idea of it, so I'm probably not going to dive too much into career mode. But career mode, I will say, big step up, but still, in my personal opinion, not enough. They need to go quite a bit further still. But I am enjoying it so far. Now, what I'm showing is also preview build, and I actually am not sure if I'm supposed to say this or not, but I'm going to because I just don't know. But the final build is coming out in a couple of days, so I'll basically, what you're seeing is, like I said, a preview build. So we've only got a couple of days where we're actually allowed to show this because of the final build coming out. So yeah, what you're seeing today is not totally final. Driver ratings, R&D team ratings are totally not finished, so we'll kind of go easy on that, but everything else we're gonna judge quite hard. Esteban, hello. Karma's here. D Money, how you doing? Should I buy the new one? From my time playing, I'm a big supporter in not paying full price for like a lot of these new sports games, and F124 is definitely a step up from F123 in terms of features and additions. However, I cannot justify paying full price, not even close, because at the end of the day, it's a new game, but it still kind of feels like it's just more of a, there's not enough content there to where it's like it's a new game. It's more of a DLC on top of F123, and then they change some things. But I am decently happy with some of the things they have changed, and I'm going to open the game up right now, so I'm going to disappear for a quick second because I have to come over here to actually start the game. F124. So we'll get this going, and yeah, I got a lot of things to kind of talk about with the handling model because the handling is really different this year, and my opinion on the handling model has changed quite a bit from the first time I played to now, but I'll dive into it more here in just a second. Let me go into this screen, and I'm hoping that you guys will see F124 in a matter of seconds. Should be black screen right now, but it should come up here. Should be, hopefully. Do you guys see anything yet? Nope, not yet. It's not showing. It ain't showing. Where is it? Why ain't it showing anything? Always something. Now it doesn't want to work. Of course it doesn't. I'm trying to pull up F1 24. It says here. Oh, hold on. Maybe? Nope. Okay, of course, there's always some weird issue. How are you guys doing today, though, while we figure this out if suddenly it's not showing? Yeah, the career mode looks decent. Like I said, it's a step up. It's a step in the right direction. However, still, it's like, you know, they could have done more and they didn't. There we go. We're back in business now. So here's F124. So the time's kind of ticking now. It's 12:22 p.m. Eastern time here in Canada. So basically, we have till just after 2 p.m. My time to kind of showcase the game here. I'm supposed to include sponsored by EA, but I can tell you right now I'm not getting paid by EA to do this, so I'm going to roast the game as hard as I'm able to. Would you recommend this as a first F1 game? Yes, if you can get it on sale. If you can get it on sale, yes. I would pay no more than half price for this game. But that's just my opinion on the large majority of video games. So kind of take that with a grain of salt. You're tired? I'm tired too. I stayed up way too late and then I had to get up way too early. So I'm regretting everything. But I really wanted to showcase this to you guys today. But we're going to kind of dive into things. We'll do career mode at the end and not actually really do any of the racing. Just kind of showcase, you know, some of the things in there and explain things. The new menus actually look cool. I like this thing. Watch this transition right here. That actually looks pretty slick, but we don't really care about the menus. So I'm allowed to show time trial, Grand Prix mode, and career mode. And in time trial, we'll start with time trial because I want to talk about the handling model to kind of kick things off. We'll stick with equal performance on here. But all the cars, so car models, not all the cars are final yet. Aston Martin is not final. And then it was the Haas car is not final, and I think it might have been the kit car that's not final. It was 3 or 4 cars that are not final. McLaren, that'd be a good one. Will the storyline of F123 carry on to F124? No, because I have a whole different plot planned for F124, and mods we still don't know. Hopefully, because I can tell you right now, if mods are not a thing in F124, which we'll find out soon enough, you probably won't see a whole lot of content from me, to be completely honest. It would kind of ruin everything. But yeah, I've got a whole different plot line, and I see the Vettel comment. There's a very specific reason you see the Vettel number on my car, but that's a bit of a spoiler for the F124 plot that I'm not going to tell you guys about yet. So, my favorite driver was Sebastian Vettel, and now it's Zhou Guanyu and Carlos Sainz. Who's your guys' favorite driver? So, I'm allowed to show you guys Saudi Arabia in time trial. I'm allowed to show you guys Britain in time trial, Belgium, and Qatar. Now, I showed Qatar in a video I just put out a few minutes ago. But I'm thinking one track that I haven't really done much of is Jeddah. But Jeddah's really just it's kind of stale now. I'm thinking like we could show off. Where's Spa? Where's Spa? I wouldn't mind trying out Spa. I am all over the place here. There it is. So we'll kind of dive into this. I'm not allowed to show you Singapore, sadly. I can tell you I've tried Singapore. It played okay. Now we'll dive in and I'll kind of give my whole feedback on everything. And as well, Jasper, I saw you comment earlier. I don't see anything about wet weather in time trial, which I am confused. Why did they remove, and I think they did this in F123, why did they remove wet weather time trials? Or did they? Or can you do it in the settings? No, you can't. Yeah. Okay. That's weird. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know why they removed it. Because you used to be able to do wet weather time trial, dry weather, and that was cool. So from this, what we've been reading is setups play a huge role now in this game. Like, way more of a role than ever in terms of getting your car to handle the way you want it to handle and drive the way you want it to drive. I barely know anything about setups. I never have. So I always just come into time trials and just basically take a top 10 setup. Example, we'll take Jarno Otmir's setup, we'll load it. But I always personally like to add toe to my setups. That's kind of like my personal thing I do. And the setups are relatively the same, but there is engine braking now. I think my camera's kind of covering it. Yeah, this option here is engine braking, so that's new to the setups. Other than that, everything's kind of the same, which the setups didn't really need to be changed very much. You can see, though, right off the bat, I mean, the game looks pretty similar to F1 23, so it's not like when I said it kind of felt like a DLC versus a new game. You kind of get what I mean. Like, the career mode's all new, the handling's all new, but at the end of the day, it's kind of the same core that we've had for the past, I don't know how many years now, and I would really like to see them move on from this game engine, because I feel like we're at the point where it is holding us back from just a downright better game. So yeah, I need to make sure I pay attention to the time here today, so I don't go over the 2 hours and get suspended from my EA Creator Access. But I'm curious to see if this is going to be a leap year where maybe, I mean, we thought maybe this was a year where we would get a new game engine, and obviously we haven't. So yeah, my wheel settings, I will show my wheel settings really quick. I'm on the Moza FSR, if anyone was wondering. But go in here, and my force feedback. So some creators have been having issues with Moza and I forget the other wheel. It might have been Logitech, but don't quote me on it. But there was like a lot of vibration issues. I'm not sure what it's been about because I've not experienced the same issues they've been complaining about. But this is what I've got, the force feedback settings. I was messing around with a lot of them because when I first started driving the game, I was like, wow, this actually sucks really hard. So I started messing around with some things, and I didn't get anywhere doing it. So we're kind of here at this. And now we're going to go in, and I'm going to show you guys everything, how it drives, because that's kind of obviously the main thing. So, yeah, they definitely, this year was definitely the year of career mode focus, which I think was a good move. And I'll showcase it a little bit later, but I still don't think it's enough. Like, it's enough for now, but they definitely need to keep expanding upon it. You can't just give us this. I'm afraid that they're going to give us this current career mode, and then they're not going to touch it again for 4 years. And that will be a significant problem to me, because I just think it's lazy and unacceptable. But you will come if you get into the top 3. All right, so let me know if the audio is okay. I've been messing around a little bit with it, so just let me know if it's too loud or too quiet. The engine, the sounds are definitely... Oh, we've already got a problem here. My Moza setup is the wrong setup. Hold on just a second. You're going to see the screen go black here because I can't get the current preview build of the game to go into windowed mode. There we go. All right, we should be good. Now, you are likely to see as well, we're probably going to crash the game a couple times because in this preview build, sometimes when you go into the actual driving, the handling model seems to not sync properly with the wheel. So when it recognizes that, it crashes the game. So that seems to happen every couple times, which is expected in, a preview build. I wasn't surprised by that. So we will see how this goes. But anyways, we dive in, and it's really different. It is extremely different. The first thing, and I'm going to show you guys the first thing I did when I first got the game a few days ago. So I got up to speed, and on a straight line here, when I'm first playing a racing game, I like to move the wheel back and forth and just see what the car does. And this is immediately, I'm like, if you have a wheel and you go do that in F1 23, you're going to get a whole different response. It does not do that. It feels completely unnatural to me. Like, I don't feel like that should equate to the car that aggressively and violently doing what it just did on the racetrack. And if we expand a little bit further, we go to these corners. So the high speed corners and the low speed corners feel quite a bit different from one another, but the car feels, as you can see right there, you can just see it feels really pointy is the best kind of word to describe the handling. It's very pointy. And in the center of the corner, it kind of understeers, and then on the exit, it kind of grips back up and goes back to kind of the way it felt on the entry, where it's pointed again. It hooks up, and then it kind of bites really hard, and then you can send it. But you can see going into the corner, it takes some time to get used to because it just wants to point and go right to where you're aiming. It's not like a gradual kind of apex. It's just gonna go, and you can kind of see it every corner I'm going through. And at first, I hated everything about this. I had, in the first probably hour, I had absolutely nothing but bad things to say about this handling model. I was very open. I was just like, this is terrible. I mean, I couldn't believe how much I hated it. However, as time has gone on, and you gotta get used to the pointiness of the car. And right here, it feels so weird because I feel like it looks weird. It's hard to describe, but you can kind of see it there. It just looks weird in some corners, and it just feels like I have almost an infinite level of grip. And as well, look at that. So I can really kind of whip the car around. You can crash it, which is good, but it feels really hard to crash. Like I'm almost having to intentionally crash myself to actually crash myself, because the handling model is extremely forgiving, and the curbs as well. So, and I do have positive things to say, don't worry. I know I'm sounding extremely negative right now, but I probably have more positive things to say at the end of the day than the negatives. But the curbing here, like, you can go over any of these curbs and you're not really going to face any consequences, and that's a little bit frustrating. I'm not allowed to show in these time trials all the tracks, like I said, because there's some tracks with sausage curbs I would love to show you guys. But basically, you name any curb and you can kind of just go over that curb without an issue. It's not like F123 where you got to be careful. You can just full send over these curbs now, and I'm not a fan of that. I just think it's too forgiving. It's too rewarding to someone that's not going to respect the track and the limits of the track. But as you can see, like right now, it doesn't look bad when I'm driving, and that's just me getting used to it, because at first I was just hating it, but as I've played, it's actually not that bad. And another thing is, when I talk about the forgiveness of this handling model, and I'll see if I can replicate it here, but you can slip the rear end really hard and still save it without even fully lifting, and that is not good. I think a better track to show it will be in Silverstone. But let me read a few comments first before I actually try and do a decent lap here now. The HUD looks terrible. I do not. I think the HUD, just in my opinion, this is the worst HUD we have had in a long time. I mean, it just does not look good to me. I do not like it. I guess I could maybe show back you in career mode or something. But so, do you think F124 is better than 23 in terms of content? And if you put the time in to get used to the handling model, I think it's better than F123 overall. Obviously the content is better for sure. I can show a Haas on board for sure. Have you tried the inside curb in turn one at that one turn in the Hungaroring? I have not, but hopefully maybe we can sneak it in here. Hello Jay, by the way. Yeah, what were they doing when they were like, let's make this new HUD? I mean, I understand you have to change the HUD every year to kind of keep the game looking fresh, but who came up with that? It just don't look good. It's not the worst thing I've ever seen, but I expect better from EA. But now I'll kind of expand on the positives of the handling model, because I've spent quite a bit there being negative about it. Those were my first impressions. As I've done it more, you can see, like, I'm okay now. I'm driving the same as I drive now in F123, but you can see it's just, you got to get used to that jolty pointiness. I don't think that belongs in the game personally. I think EA and Codemasters disagree with that. I know I'm not the only one that thinks that it shouldn't be like that, but obviously I've never driven a real Formula 1 car, so who am I to talk about how the car should drive? But it just feels unnatural. But the positives to me is, as I've gotten used to it, I've been able to bring my usual driving style into the game, and it works, which I'm at least happy with that, to where I can still feel comfortable driving the way I like to drive a F1 car in previous F1 games. It still feels weird in moments like this. These slow speed corners are probably the worst. It just feels like you have way too much grip in them. But I'll go into Grand Prix mode, and we'll change tracks now. But we'll go into Grand Prix mode after I show you guys Silverstone. But you'll notice that there's kind of two different ways you can kind of drive the game. And one way is kind of how I drive, and that's just kind of patient and just not aggressive, just, you know, gradual turn-ins, smooth inputs on the wheel. That works. But you can also choose to fully lean into the pointiness of the handling model, and you can find more time driving or leaning into the pointiness of it, if that makes sense. So you can kind of go quicker, which is good for time trials. However, I've noticed that if you really lean into the aggressive, pointy kind of driving of the handling model that's there to take advantage of, you burn your tires up significantly more than if you take the smooth driving style, which is kind of like the classic one. And you'll save way more tire not driving really aggressive. And I usually, like previous games, for me at least, I've always felt like you have to drive the car one way, and if your driving style doesn't suit it, it's just good luck. You got to deal with it. Where now you kind of have two different options to work with, and one has the advantage of it'll be quicker in the short run, but it's going to fall off hard later. And the advantage of the smoother style is, yeah, you're going to be a little bit slower at the beginning of a run, but you're going to be quite a bit quicker later because your tire wear is going to be significantly less than option one. That's one thing where I think this handling model really shines. I don't think that's really been touched on from anyone, but I noticed that when playing and recording yesterday. I was like, okay, at least there's two sides to it, and they both have their pros and cons and advantages and disadvantages, which I think is really cool for players that at least have not be kind of locked into one kind of option. Let's go with Ronhar's setup here and just see what it does. How does the steering feel in low speed corners? It does that. Probably the worst of the game is there in the low speed corners. It does not feel natural. And I'll show it again here. So the Haas car is not final. You're seeing a standard kind of FOM car, but here's a slow speed corner, right? So I just kind of, you turn in and just look at it. It does not look right. It does not look right. It does not feel right. That's where it's like, okay, I've gotten used to the handling model, and I've adapted to it, and I've put my own style into it, and it's been fine. But when you get to the slow speed corners, I don't think it really matters what your driving style is. Something just feels off. And it almost feels like a bug, but it's not a bug. It's not a bug at all. So it just feels odd. The new Spa track's great. We could do a Grand Prix there, actually, because I've not done a race there with the AI. As well, another thing, so on this preview build, I mentioned earlier R&D and driver ratings are not finalized. AI is also not final, so what you see today is more of just a little bit of an idea of where it's going to be for the final release, but is certainly not the actual final product. But as we're going around Silverstone here, the brand new updated Silverstone, you can just see that kind of bite, that pointiness that the car likes to take on the entrance to the corner. And I'm going to run one lap here, showing you guys kind of the aggressive style leaning into the pointiness of the car that you can take if you want to. I'm never going to drive like that because I just think it looks stupid and it feels stupid, but it works, unfortunately. So this is where it just feels so weird. These slower speed corners, it's just, it's so hard to describe. You really have to just play it for yourself to kind of get an idea. But now, this is going to be, watch my wheel inputs right here, so you can just point it in, look at that. So you go from no wheel input to just send it, and it works. So nothing, Just crank that wheel and it just hooks right up. Just be careful with oversteer. Hard on the throttle. You can get really hard on the gas pedal in this game, and I'm not a fan of that. I would like to see a bit more consequence for obvious, you know, heavy throttle input, but it's nothing. Crank it in. Look at it. It just hooks up and it goes. And then do it again and it just grips right up. You don't really have to worry too much about grip loss. And we'll make this run down to cops. And you're going to see, you can basically, I think you can go flat now. Just crank it in. Look at that. I don't like it. I do not like that. We'll go through the S's. Same situation. Just crank that wheel. See how much that hooks up, and you see the time you can gain. You can imagine the laps I'm running are not perfect by any means here today, but you can just imagine how much time you're able to gain by doing that. Again, just crank that wheel. So that is an option. As you can see, that is a clear option you have if you want to drive like this. I think it looks bad. I think it feels bad. And I'm just not a fan. And I'm glad that the smooth driving still works. So what you just saw, running a lap like that, if you ran a lap like that 5 times consecutively in a Grand Prix or a career mode race, you are going to absolutely dominate your tires. They're going to be quick to begin with compared to driving like this, the smoother way. But you're going to destroy your tires and pay for it in the long run. And then this style is what's going to take over in the long run. And it's going to significantly give you a better long run pace compared to that driving style I just showed. So there's the trade-offs basically. And now that's the one thing where I say I think this handling model actually does shine, is it gives you these 2 different options. And it's up to you to determine how you want to go about it basically. So now I'm just driving normal and we're still putting a decent lap together. Can you show Monaco? I'll try to show a couple of tracks in the career mode, and I'm still confused. I don't know why they let us show any track we want in career mode, but in time trial and Grand Prix mode we're only allowed to show select tracks. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But yeah, I mean, you can see this lap here running on the smooth kind of driving style has still been an okay lap. The time difference isn't huge between the 2 kind of different styles. Like I said, you can definitely find more time early doing the crazy style and just send it. But the smooth style, in my opinion, is still going to be kind of the way to go in the long run. So yeah, it works either way. But that's the lap around Spa, or Silverstone. And you kind of get the idea of it. Thoughts on the track? I think the new updated tracks, all of them, I've tried them all. All of them, actually, I think are very well done. So I know I give EA and Codemasters a lot of crap, but actually the new track updates and laser scans of Spa and Silverstone are really well. So GG's to them on that. But yeah, you see the infinite grip I'm talking about. You can definitely lose it. One thing I have noticed, and in previous, actually one thing I've noticed where it's harder to actually keep control of the car in this game versus previous games is, you know, sometimes when you're going into a corner and you'll clip the grass on the side of the track by accident. In previous games, you could always kind of hang on to that and it'd be okay. And you would certainly lose control, but you could save it. Where this game, it seems a bit more unforgiving, where if I'm hitting a high speed section and I jam on the brakes and accidentally clip the grass, like, there's no chance I'm saving it. I'm crashing that car. And the gravel, actually, is there gravel here on Silverstone really quick? The gravel is different now. I want to show you guys the gravel. No career mode video today or tomorrow. There will be the final 2 episodes, though, by the end of this week, Burlington. Hope you're doing well. But I'm excited for you guys to see the career mode finale. And then I'll have a prologue to F124 going out as soon as possible. Oh, the hairpin at Monaco. That's a good one. We have to try that. Alright, I want to show you guys the gravel really quick before we move on. It's hard to explain, but just watch and you'll kind of understand how the gravel... Obviously, you don't want to end up in the gravel, but I did notice, because I suck, that I've ended up there a few times, and it definitely kind of drives different. Where's the closest gravel pit to where I don't have to actually go on a whole adventure to actually get to it? There's some over there. Here, maybe? Let's go up past here a little bit. Here we go. So you get into it, and yeah, I mean, I just so previously in F1 like 23, I could just full throttle through gravel and kind of still, you know, it'd be a rough ride, but I was gonna get through it. Where now, like, immediately you can just see the car just kind of goes on a four-wheel slide now. So finally you go off track and into the gravel. There you go. Yeah, that's a nice addition, although I'm not looking to explore that addition much further because I don't like to be in the gravel. But yeah, it's just kind of nice that there's actually something there to just add a little bit of immersion. I'll show it like one more time right here. See, it just, you go on a big slide. It's cool. I like that. It's just a nice little update there. Which team will you start with? Do you want spoilers of which team I'm going to start with in F1 24? Because I know what team I will start with now. I made the decision a couple days ago. So let's do a Grand Prix. It is now almost 1 p.m. already. My time. What time is it where you guys are? Where are you guys watching from? Yeah, I think the gravel is definitely better, so. Alright, I'll spoil the car color because there's a couple cars with that color. It's blue. Car is blue. Let's do Grand Prix first, and I'll showcase like Spa, and then we'll try out some career mode stuff. So, because I see you guys mentioning a few tracks that I would also like to try, and I can only show them in career mode, like Monaco, Hungary, as well as Silverstone. Someone mentioned Silverstone in the chat, and that's a great mention because there's obviously so much slow speed corners when it comes to Silverstone. Yeah, I saw, so I've been seeing what Alex has been saying. I actually haven't heard. So Matt212, I actually told him, so he had not played the game a few days ago, and I told him all about it. I was like, bro, we got a serious problem with this handling model. But like I said, the more I've personally played it, the more my opinion has changed, where I do fully believe it's still a step down, but there's also positives to it. Like, I don't think it's as big of a deal as some are gonna make it out to be. Like, you can still, you're gonna load up the game, you're gonna play it, it's still gonna feel like an F1 game. You just got to get used to the handling model. And I think the one critique I will definitely as well add to like the many I've already added is I would think for a casual player, it takes longer to get used to the game and how it handles than any other F1 game I've played previously. Like, usually when I hop into a new F1 game, I can get used to it, get in the flow within probably 20-30 minutes of the handling. Where this game, it took me probably 2 to 3 hours to be like, okay, this is how it works. This is how I need to drive the car, and you know, you go from there. So I would say, to answer your question, Roy, it is difficult to adapt to. In a sense, like, I would put it at like a medium level difficulty. Once you understand it and just kind of figure it out, it's pretty easy. I was wondering, why is France removed too? They got rid of France, but they kept Portugal, which makes zero sense. I should try to contain myself, but it grinds my gears that we're getting rid of tracks. I'm like, there's no excuse. I mean, I'm sure there is an excuse, probably licensing or something, but we should not be losing tracks in these games. What should I do Grand Prix in? Let's do the Mercedes, and we'll do Spa, we'll do Lewis Hamilton. One of the current known bugs in this build of the game is the AI are too quick. So I've got the AI pretty low at a 90. They have confirmed they're just straight up too fast. We'll do a short race here, and after we do this race, this will probably take about 20 minutes. That'll put us close to quarter after 1 p.m., which will give us about exactly 1 hour, where I will show you guys career mode and some of the tracks in there, because I can show all the tracks in career mode, but I can't in Grand Prix mode. We'll just keep qualifying off and stuff. Simulation settings, blah, blah, blah. We're not going to mess too much with that. Do you guys want to see some rain? Should I add some rain to this race? Because as well, with this handling model, hello F1 Jesse, by the way, how you doing? I had a problem with the rain as well, where, as you can imagine, I've already talked about how it feels really forgiving. So as you can imagine, the rain feels quite forgiving as well. Like I was going example spa. Well, we're gonna race spa, so I'll show you guys. I'm gonna make it very wet, so we'll get dry and wet. But for example, I was able to go full throttle in the pouring rain on the exit of some low-speed apexes, which just felt totally wrong. Totally wrong. And I was quite annoyed by that. But I'll showcase it here and everything that I mean. So, appreciate you guys being here. First stream on the YouTube Formula Owen channel. We got just over 70 of you guys. So, I hope I'm not talking too much, but there's so much to kind of say. But overall, I've had my critiques of the handling model. I recognize the positives as well. And overall, with the new additions to the game so far, with the career mode and whatnot, I'm satisfied. I won't say I'm happy. I'm not disappointed. I'm just satisfied so far. I'm okay with it. We got 2 more episodes of F123 career. I'm gonna record. I don't know where the next race is. Abu Dhabi. I'm gonna record that one tonight, and then hopefully get that out not tomorrow because I won't have time. So to be out on Friday, and then hopefully the final episode Saturday or Sunday to immediately follow, and then we will do some F124 prep after that. Hungary, it's a lack of track action for sure. Personally, I actually like Hungary. Very fun track to drive, and it's just a satisfying track to drive. But I'm curious to see how it drives in this game, and we'll showcase it in career mode. So, how many subscribers do we even have? I don't know. 5.46, so 5,460. I don't think we're hitting 5.5k. We need like 35 subscribers in this stream. I don't think that's happening. I agree. France is a great track in the game, so I'm quite disappointed they got rid of it. The driver, they look thrilled. Now, they updated the driver character models, but in the pre-race, they still look terrible. Like, they look good everywhere else, but in the pre-race grid, they don't look good. Now I'm like, well, what are we doing? So I'm not sure if that's something they're going to change in the final version of the game, but yeah, that was like a little small thing that I noticed there. Oh, it has been frustratingly difficult actually to win the F123 driver career mode championship. Way harder than I thought it was going to be. And the reality is, you know, I could have very well scripted that career mode already to win a championship or 2 if I had wanted, but I just that's just not the way I like to play the game. So I like to keep it real and authentic, even if that means a championship decided a couple races early. I think scripting career modes is just not fun, and I would never do that, because if I started doing that, I would probably quit making videos, because that's just not fun to do. I like to let it naturally play out, and if we lose a championship or race or two early because of that, it is what it is. I like to have it natural. But I appreciate the kind words. I know you guys enjoy the career mode. That's kind of all I'm focused on, right? So, hello, Joshua. So the R&D, I won't get to show. So there's a new R&D situation that I sadly won't be able to show on the stream just because there won't be enough time to go through a whole season, obviously. But it looks cool, and I'm excited to kind of see it play out in the actual career mode. But let's do. There is going to be. I've got some cool ideas about simulating some career mode seasons, and I will showcase that in the probably first couple weeks, but I got some cool ideas there. Do you think you'll enjoy this game as much as F123? Yes. Although I have my critiques on the handling model, I've made my points about how I've been able to adapt to it, and it's still a step down, but overall, content-wise, as a career mode focused player, there's a good time to be had here. Hello, George. Hello, is it Antojo? How you doing? I did not call out anybody. I actually, I don't have a problem with creators either like, I don't even, if you do script your career modes, I don't have a problem with it. They're making entertainment at the end of the day. I just personally, myself, don't like that style. I like to let things be natural.
Who's got their strategies right for today's race? Well, we'll soon find out.
We got some big plans, OG, for F124 career mode. F123 just, assuming mods are still in this game and capable of being used, the F124 career mode is going to be so much further in depth than F123. We just barely scratched the surface of what I wanted to do in F123. So I got some cool ideas, that's for sure. I want to expand more on the ownership aspect as well. We've barely tapped on it in F123, and it was just kind of like a test it to see what it would be like. And I've got some more ideas of how I'd do it better in F124. So anyways, let's do this race in Spa. We're going to do this race here. We're going to see it go from dry to wet, and then we're going to show the career mode for the final part of the stream. So we'll kind of take a few pauses in between this race. It's 11 laps, but we'll take a few pauses to kind of talk about what we're seeing and what you guys think. But we're racing, and once again, if you're just tuning in, AI is not final either, so don't, we can critique, but don't critique too hard, because it is definitely going to be changed as well, just like the driver ratings and the R&D stuff for the final release. The audio sounds quite a bit different, I've noticed this year. I'm using the same audio settings that I use in F123, and yeah, definitely there's a difference there with the sound. I don't know if it's good or bad. I genuinely don't. Look at these guys. So one thing I'm noticing immediately is an issue we've had for a long time, where the AI have kind of infinite battery on the opening lap, and you can kind of see they still have that here, which is kind of disappointing to see. They always have infinite battery on the opening lap, the last lap, the lap that they come out of the pits, the lap that they go off of a safety car back to green flag racing conditions. They always have kind of infinite battery. So I'm racing on a default setup, by the way, for this one. So what you're seeing here is no setup, pure default. If you're just a casual person coming in to play the game, this is kind of what you're going to be looking at, is from that kind of perspective. Just your default setup, get in, race, hope for the best. So the AI, I might struggle to keep up with them because it is a known issue currently. They are quite simply too quick. Look in the HUD. Look how quick the battery goes down now. Look at that. That's crazy. It goes down extremely quick when I go into overtake. So it seems like, unless that's going to be changed, which I don't see any talk of it being changed, it seems like battery management in the early part of the career mode is going to be way more what's the word I'm looking for? Way more important. I just about killed him. It's going to be way more important than previous games because the battery just depletes so quick. Oh yeah, I heard about the Ricky Stenhouse Jr. situation. I'm not a fan of that. Not a fan of that penalty. Bad penalty. The red bar, I still don't know. I don't know. So if you guys see beside the overtake, there's this red bar. One of you guys might know. But when I get on the brake, that red bar fills up, and I'm like, is that how much energy I'm restoring throughout a lap, or is that just something I'm just not understanding? Yeah, I just don't know. Because then on the right side, you got the green bar. That's, of course, how much... I think the green bar... Okay, now that I'm looking at it, I think the green bar is how much I'm using throughout the lap of what I'm allowed to use. And the yellow bar is my overall amount, which is 64%, etc. And I'm going to assume the red bar has to be how much I have harvested or something. That's just my guess. Okay, so it seems like we're all on the same page here. Areva, how far through the lap you are? Is that red bar? I think... No, that can't be right. I think he's wrong because, look, the red bar is full now. The red bar is totally full. Yeah, it's not going any further. So I think Areva might have been wrong because it has to be something to do with the harvesting. Because you'll see it does reset right there. But it doesn't do anything until right there when I get on the... I'm over here focusing in. We're gonna use the flashback, but as soon as you hit the brake pedal is when that red bar goes. So I don't know. It's interesting. PMT, how you doing, PMT? Been a minute. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to the stream. They're still side by side up there between Perez and Sainz, and we got Leclerc and Verstappen running 1-2. I did a Stroll on Stroll. I might need to ask someone like at the team, like, what does this red bar mean? Overall, we already talked about it. I don't like the HUD. It just looks eh. And obviously in the default, they're going 3 wide up there just about. They're going after it. Alonso having a good run. Aston Martin feels in this current build is clearly way too strong. And Stroll, what's Stroll doing up here? Actually, he had a good run this past weekend in Imola. Shout out to Stroll. Actually put a race together and did okay. George Russell trying to catch us off guard. Sneak around the outside. We're not going to let that happen. We'll shut the door on our Mercedes teammate. Ask about the weather really quick. 5 minutes till rain. So, let me know right now in the comments. Now that you're seeing me just doing a normal race with this handling model, how do you guys think it looks? Because, like I said, this is me having a few hours in the game and actually getting used to the handling model and whatnot now. But the more I've gotten used to it, it just overall does not... It feels a lot better than my initial impressions. And like I said, I've been able to kind of just take my F123 kind of style of driving and put it into this game, and it seems like I can do just fine, which in the first hour or two I did not feel like was even going to be possible. So it still has this weird feeling right here. These slow speed corners just does not feel right, but outside of that, it's okay. It's not great. It still is like, I'm like, we should have just kept the F123 handling model and kind of worked on that a little bit instead of completely changing it, in my opinion. But overall, it's not bad. I'll take a quick pause and see what you guys are saying there. There's a max amount of ERS you can use in a lap. Do you think this is a great game? No. No. It's very hard. I think the last great F1 game was F1 2020. It's very hard to make a great game. Well, maybe not hard, but it doesn't seem to happen. The HUD in the F2 cars is so much better because there's no battery. Oh, I haven't even seen the F2 HUD yet. We need to look at that. The total amount of energy you're allowed to harvest in a lap. Oh, you might be onto something, BLA. So the total amount of battery that we're able to harvest in a lap, and then once it hits that full bar, let's put this to the test here. So BLA thinks once that red bar gets full, our battery is not going to harvest anymore for the rest of the lap. And I'm very curious to see if that's accurate, because I think you might be onto something. Another thing I have not mentioned yet. When you're going through some of these corners, I don't know if you guys can hear it, but listen. This is a bad corner to show it, actually. The tires, you can really hear the tires screeching. Let's see if you can hear it in this corner. Right there. Yeah, just kind of like an irk. It's just like, ugh. Right there. I mean, that one's right. They're sliding all over there. I was all over the road. Okay, there's our tire wear. So this is me driving with the smooth style, 14-15% after 4 laps. That looks okay. If I was driving on that pointy, aggressive style earlier, it would have been way higher. For example, and I don't know if you guys have seen it, but I just put out a video, the second video I put out today. I went to Qatar and I did 4 laps, and the first 4 laps I did pushing that aggressive driving style, taking full advantage of the pointiness of the car, and just, you know, from the no wheel input to just full maximum wheel input every corner. And then I did 4 laps on the current driving style that I like, which is just a smooth, casual, gradual turn in, more not stupid looking driving style. And on the aggressive driving style, in 4 laps, my left front tire was more than 20% more worn after 4 laps on the smoother driving style. The other 3 tires, the right front, left rear, right rear, they were about 10 to 15% more worn on each tire. So that was the thing I was happy to see, actually, with that. So you kind of, like I said, you get, there's positives with pace, but there's negatives with the tire wear that you're going to face on that aggressive driving style compared to the more smooth and casual driving style. The battery was still recharging, wasn't it? I forgot to look, but let's... So what does it mean then, that red bar? It has to be something to do with the harvesting, right? But it's just like... The battery's still recharging when that bar is full. Do we want to pit yet? Yeah, it's about to rain. We're going to stay out on the racetrack. I'm trying to put in more brake to make that bar go full. It's full now, so let's see. Yeah, it's still recharging, so the battery's still going up. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that red bar means. I'm totally at a loss for that.
The rain's gonna keep getting heavier.
The rain is going to keep getting heavy. Oh, okay, it is raining now. So let's see how this happens. Tire wear, I don't think... I just don't know. The common consensus is we don't know. I'm gonna have to try and like get some clarification on it. Yeah, I mean Jay could be right. Fast Cook, that is in the chat.
Be careful on those slicks. These conditions
So far,
a bit greasy, but we're still nowhere near the changeover point.
Mark's talking about how the line could be a bit greasy right now. It kind of feels no different than F123. The rain's coming down, but you still have plenty of grip. Doesn't feel like I'm slipping and sliding around at all. But that rain, of course, is going to continue to fall and get heavier here. What Erva said is red bar shows how far you are into the lap. Yeah, so we saw that earlier, but it's definitely not true, because look, it's now full. So that would imply that we are now ending the lap, but we definitely are not. So he was wrong, but I'm wrong too, because I have no idea what it means. So it's just like I don't know if anyone actually knows. Like I said, I'll probably ask someone. I have one contact that might be able to get me an answer on that, because I am genuinely curious. This rear end starts to slip out a little bit right there. Yeah, I'm just kind of chilling. Let's try to actually get aggressive here. Hello, Lance. I was not expecting him to slow up that much. Ooh, we're starting to lose some grip now. Now, that's a moment there. I felt like in F123, I probably would have lost the car, because it just kind of went out from me a lot, where this game is just not the case. DRS, Stroll has DRS. Do keep in mind DRS is enabled now on lap 2. His rain light, I think, yeah, that's the rain light coming on now. I'm gonna send it up the inside here. Oh, the front's actually sliding a little bit, and now just suddenly, very abruptly, we're starting to lose some grip here. Yeah, we're definitely hitting that turnover period. This is going to be the lap we're pitting for sure. We'll be going on to inters, and then we'll be switching over to the wets after the fact. But you can see just now, someone correct me if I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I could have sworn I read that this was supposed to be different in this game, where it was supposed to be a bit more gradual, where this is not gradual. We went from nothing to 100. In terms of wetness, really, really quick. So we're going to come in here, get the inters on. I'm assuming inters are going to be the way to go for now. Are they going to box? No, they're not. Okay. We'll come in. I don't know what buttons my turn in, actually. Maybe that one? Okay. Yeah, it's clearly... I don't know if it's... I hope that's something that's changed, because that is the exact same as F1. Oh, DRS just got disabled. But, like, there's... Nobody in their right mind is going to stay out on the track in that condition. But yet they were hanging on decently well. So let's get on the inters. And I've only tested the wet, so it's going to be my first time on the intermediate. Overall, track looks great, honestly. The new scan of Spa, the art, everything looks really good here on the track. It feels a bit more narrow at times. I don't know if you guys see that too, but it kind of feels a bit more narrow. But first time on the inters, and I feel like on the wets I was able to be way more aggressive on throttle than I should have been able to. So I'm curious to see if I can represent that here on the inters as well. So I'm about half throttle, full throttle already. That's where I'm just like, ooh, I'm full throttle right there. I don't know. To me, it doesn't feel like I should be allowed on a wet track, even if it's on an inter. Full throttle, just it feels like I'm able to go full throttle way too early. Way too early. Correct me, I mean, if I'm wrong, if you guys feel differently, but I shouldn't be full throttle right there and just only having a minor inconvenience of oversteer. Like right there, I was nearly full throttle that whole corner. That just does not feel right. Passing the, who is this? Esteban Ocon. Hamilton trying to pull a move on K-Mag. Of course, these two had a bit of a history recently in Miami. We'll dive up the inside. Thank you very much. They're all going to pit here. Some are staying out still. Yes, there's no throttle. There's just no penalty for... Like, you can definitely overstep your boundary to an extent, but it has to be extremely exaggerated. Oh, they're on wets. They are on the wet tire. Let's see right there. I mean, I am full throttle through 90% of Eau Rouge and up through the run into Radian. It's just like, I don't think I should be allowed to do that on no assists and intermediate compound tire on a wet racetrack. And Bottas is hanging. Oh my goodness, you are in big trouble there. I'm just going to let him have his space and then we'll sneak up the inside. We're not racing for the win, so we'll come in and we'll just put on the wet tire just so I can show you guys that as well. And then we'll show some career mode stuff to end the stream. But yeah, kind of how I've said it all stream long. There's negatives, quite a few negatives I've pointed out to this handling model. But there's also some positives that I'm happy with as well. And at the end of the day, I'm not really happy with it, but I'm neutral with it to where it's not going to, personally for me at least, it's not going to take away from my experience. I thought it was going to at first. Oh my. Don't mind if I do. But yeah, I thought I was going to hate this at first based off the first hour or two. But it's turned out to be an acceptable time for me. I think we got a issue here with the Ferrari. Maybe a tire puncture or a mechanical issue. That looks like a tire puncture. We're going to come in though. We'll put on the wet tire as I'm going to try and catch Stroll off guard. Oh, he's got me. Sainz is out. Okay. That was a mechanical failure. In we go. Of course, yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be legit if it wasn't a Ferrari out there. They're still checking if there's something wrong with this car, I heard. Oh, I should have stayed out to win. Yeah, they do have driver radio. So they added that in this game. And yeah, they just added for every driver, there is real life driver audio for when you crash out of a race or if you win a race. However, I was hoping, so when you're in like career mode and you're playing as your own driver, when a driver wins, you're not going to hear them celebrate. And I'm like, well, what the heck? What's the point? Most people are going to be playing as themselves in a career mode, right? So the only time you're actually going to hear the driver radio is in Grand Prix mode when you're racing with someone else, or if you play as an official driver in the career mode. That just feels so unnatural right there. It plays even after you finish the race? Oh, okay. I thought you had to win or crash. I thought those were the only two options. But yeah, I want to hear it from other drivers. You know, when I'm in a career mode, like when Max Verstappen wins for the 17th time in 18 Grand Prix, I want to hear him on the radio celebrating. I don't want to have to just play Grand Prix to hear it. So, see right there? Did you guys see how on the wet tire, on a very wet track, how quickly I was back to full throttle there in that corner? It just feels... I just held it flat there, which is not a huge deal. But I don't think I could do that in F123. But we'll just go around the outside of Joe. No, I won't. I'm not going to be able to get there. So you'll stay in front. Half throttle, full throttle. Full throttle, go. Just feels too early. I've said that many times, but that's just kind of my... Like, there's definitely... Ooh, sorry, Albon. There's definitely some slipping and sliding on the wet weather, but overall, it's still got that forgiving side to it that we've seen all throughout this handling model so far, is it's just really forgiving. Really, really forgiving. Wow.
Brilliant. Nice move.
See you later, I guess. You can play as an F2 driver. I don't know if they have radios, though, for the F2 drivers, I wonder. I am slipping it all over the place now with the wing damage here. As we're coming up on the finish here, put your thoughts down below so I can read them when I'm crossing the line to finish the race. What you think so far after seeing an actual Grand Prix and from the handling and whatnot, and just how it looks. How does the shifting feel? Feels good. Feels just like any other. You know what? Might be the least changed thing. It feels exactly like previous games. Come around the final few corners. Now I can't go full throttle because of the wing damage. We just have to nurse it around there. But it looks like Verstappen is going to come through to get the victory. There he goes now. Max Verstappen wins over, I think it was Leclerc that was right behind him. Piastri, you can tell Piastri's rating has been improved in this game, which is good to see. A decent run there in 5th for him. Will come home P6 behind George Russell. Just full throttle to the line. There you go. You'll probably thank the factory in the fan. This place has the best fans, I heard. F122. Oh, see, that's where it gets interesting. If you compare F123 to F124, I'm gonna go 23 in terms of physics, but F122, I haven't played it in so long, obviously, that I have a hard time feeling like I can go on the side of F122 just because I don't remember it a whole lot. The only thing I remember about F122 is, you know what, I will say F124 does feel better, because one thing I do remember about F122 is it felt very unpredictable all the time. Like, you could never take a series of corners the same way. It felt like you were going to get something different, you know, next time it came around. Where I don't feel that in this game. I still, although it's so different compared to what we've had, there's still a consistency to it that I feel. Alonso on the podium, yeah, we'll take that. Perez in 4th. Carlos Sainz with the DNF. I will showcase really quick before we jump into the career stuff. You'll notice the cars flying by in the replay sound a bit different. I'll let you listen here. It actually sounds a bit more natural. See, that's pretty good. And however, I've noticed there's a bug. There's a bug that was present in F123 that they have not bothered to fix into this game. So you notice on the leaderboard here, there is no timing. So in F123, this was a bug. You had to hit the screenshot, back out of the screenshot, and there's the time. Same exact bug in this game. So somebody wasn't paying attention. But yeah, the sound does sound a bit better there. Yeah, it does. It's kind of less beefy, I guess you could say, but at least it just feels a bit more accurate. Yeah, like F124 is definitely drivable. It's like I said, it's different. You're going to notice it's so different. You're going to have to be patient in getting used to it. But it's drivable, and overall I'm not mad at it, which I was at the beginning for sure. So we'll go into career mode, and for whatever reason in career mode all creators in career mode are allowed to show all the tracks in career mode, but they can't show the tracks in Grand Prix or time trial. It makes zero sense. Esteban, thank you for stopping by. I appreciate you. Have yourself a good day. So where are we at here? China? Okay. So I was doing this last night to make a video for today, and we'll just kind of sim further in. I could run Qatar, but I already did a video on it that just went out. So if you go look at the most recent video, you will see. Hello, Bagel. How you doing? Why am I already in the race? Alright, we're just gonna get out of that. They have added, so the new sprint format's here. In terms of, they added sprint qualifying. So now on a sprint weekend, you get to qualify twice. Thrilling. You guys know, if you have been around here, I hate sprints. So as soon as I can mod sprints out of the game, they're gonna be gone. They are gonna be out of here. So I'll show you guys the actual career mode hub. What do you think about the gameplay? Overall, I'm happy with it. I'm not thrilled with it, but I'm happy with it. Content, I think, is probably the right word to use. Also, one thing they announced is there is a graphics update coming to the game post-launch, which I found interesting. I'm curious to see that. But anyways, this is actually, we'll just sim right in through this because I want you guys to see it from the start of an actual weekend here. So you're not going to see the beginning of the career mode. If you want to see the beginning of the career mode, you can go watch the video I put out a couple hours ago on it. There's a whole new kind of sequence to start it out. You meet your agent, you talk to her, you sign a contract, and then you just kind of go from there. And then it just kind of leads you into the typical career mode, just with some new additions and whatnot. But let's get through this, and then you'll kind of see how things roll here differently, at least compared to F123. I'm actually happy. Like I said, I'm not like there needs to be way more, but I'm pretty happy with it. Oh, look who's here. I always say your name wrong. Fiki, shout out to you. He actually has made some awesome liveries in the F123 career mode. Absolute banger liveries. We're hoping, of course, that we can mod F124. But how you doing? It's been a minute since we've had a conversation. You'll continue creating mods, is what we like to hear. So you guys are seeing a whole bunch of stuff right now that doesn't make any sense, and I'm going to explain it all right now. The new character models, yeah, they're in here. I'll show you them all, actually. So we load in, you're a Formula 1 rookie. You just signed an entry-level contract, and you have this house. How can you afford this house already? I'm like, what? Like, I'm a rookie. I might be... Yeah, how much does a rookie in F1 make? Like, how much does Logan Sargent make in his first year? He ain't gonna be buying this house. I might do some F1 open lobby streams for sure when the game is actually out. Are you going to start your first, like, real... Yes, when I will be doing a actual, real career mode. Don't you worry. So, this is the main career mode hub in F1 23. Instead of seeing this, you got, like, the background, and then you got a car, and it's just kind of sitting there. So now you're in a house, and you got your driver here. I just chose the standard basic driver that it came with, the default stuff. And then you have your ratings. So this is a big thing this year, but we'll dive into that in a minute. So now you got specialists, and this is it's kind of basically just an expanded system on top of this, on top of the R&D. So going into a weekend, I can go to my manufacturing expert, and basically this is like the overseer of everything, and you can see that you develop a relationship with them where you can see the big 0 with the bronze looking circle because I'm at level 0 with the guy. So when I hit level 1, which is 1500 experience points, we'll call it, then I'll have failure chance of all upgrades reduced by 10%. And how to increase your relationship with them is these goals right here. So into a weekend, you're going to choose a goal. Drive 50 miles during the race weekend. Keep tires below 120 degrees Celsius or 100 degrees in inter, 90 degrees Celsius in the wets for one session. So I can choose that goal, blah, 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 so on and so forth. And then you try to do that throughout the weekend. So you can see 2 of them are not available. So not all the specialists are available every race weekend. And you can see the wind tunnel engineer, she's going to be leaving after the next race weekend, so we'll have her for Miami, but then she'll be gone for a couple weeks, and then we'll have, say, the power consultant or the material fabrication planner that we'll have instead for the next race weekend. So basically they're not all there at once, they come and go, and it's like rotating. And so the strategy analyst, I have a goal with her that we can do. And once you increase your level with her, you can see practice program resource points rewards increase by 30%, 60%, 100%. So it's just basically a more in-depth way to increase the R&D, I guess, is kind of the way to explain it. And obviously the wind tunnel engineer, and it's all color-coded, right? So blue, you know, aerodynamics, and then you got the powertrain, the chassis, and the durability. So you can set goals for all of the ones available. We'll just choose some random ones, past 5 cars out on track in any session. So we get those goals, and powertrain component costs reduced by a certain percentage and times by the levels that you get with them and whatnot. So it's pretty cool. I like the system. What you know is modding will be possible. At least it looks like nothing. I did take a brief look at the files, and it didn't look like anything was changed, so I was pretty happy about that. I'm curious to see about the facility upgrades, because that was a very interesting, frustrating thing at times. No, actually, I have not tried F2 yet, and then in this game. So, and I don't think I'm allowed to show it. Based off of what I read, I don't think I'm allowed to show it. I would like to show it, but I don't think I'm allowed to. But I can try it off camera and let you guys know. So that's kind of how all the specialists work. And as well, a cool little tidbit, we have these goals, but also in the middle of a Grand Prix, and I'll try to show it here, we got about 45 minutes left that I'm allowed to show on stream. In the middle of a race, you can get goals in the race now. An example, I got a goal on my screen. Mark came over the radio, and then there's a box that comes on your screen, and it was like past George Russell within 3 laps. He was the next car in front of me. And then there was also a goal that came up. It was I was getting my engine too hot, and it was like get your engine below 170 degrees Celsius. I don't think it was that high. No, 147 degrees Celsius. Get it below that within 3 laps. So it was just kind of like a little mid-race incentive to kind of keep you engaged. Have a good night, Aristos TV. Thank you for stopping in. Team orders are not a thing. That would be really cool. But yeah, there's nothing there. Here's the new driver detail screen. There's one significant thing missing from this expanded career mode. That's just the numbers nerd in me is a bit disappointed about, and I'll touch on that in a few moments. But so when you sign a contract now, you set a goal. You set it so you see your current ratings in white. 65 is my rating currently. When you sign a contract, you set a goal of where you want your rating to be at the end of the season, and that's where the green line is. My target, I set 70 when I signed with Ferrari. So you're trying to get to that goal by the end of the season. And you also see the yellow, which is a 61. That's where the rating needs to be to keep your car, to keep your seat with that team going into the next season. If you go below that, obviously you're gone. You can see here the recognition is at 27%. So that's just basically the influence you have in the R&D and the upgrades. So Charles Leclerc has 73% recognition. I have 27. Basically, he's going to be pulling more resource points every weekend, which just allows him to have more freedom and ability to develop the car. And where I got 27% plus a 4% incentive based off of the goals I set with my contract. And you see grayed out towards the bottom. When your recognition hits certain levels, you get more of these perks, like a secret upgrade, simultaneous upgrades, 2 of them, R&D push, simultaneous upgrades towards the bottom, so on and so forth. And then you can review your contract, and you can also break your contract, which is not available in the final season. So you can sign multi-year deals now, which is cool because I always did that in my F123 career mode, like fake did it. But basically the first season you can only sign a 1-season contract. But yeah, multi-year deals is pretty cool. But you have to wait till like after season 1 to sign a multi-year deal. Is a contract minimum for a season? What do you mean by like ratings and stuff? Or can you explain a bit more what you mean? And as well, accolades here. So you got your race starts, top 5 qualifying, top 10 finishes, podium finishes, championship points. Pretty straightforward. This is what I like right here. The new rival system's pretty cool. You got your teammate rivalry that we always had, but now you got a championship rivalry, and you got a driver rating rivalry. So a driver that's around your area in driver rating, you're going to be rivaled with them, and there's different intensity levels. That's pretty cool. However, I don't know if it's actually going to affect anything. It's like, if I have a high intensity level with Charles Leclerc, is his AI going to be more aggressive around me, or is it just going to tell me it's high intensity, but he's just going to drive me like he normally does? Like, is there an actual point to the intensity levels of a rivalry? I don't know. F1 2014, actually, you know what? I might put out F1 2014 tomorrow. That's a good idea. Oh, could you transfer mid-season like we could before in F1 24? I would assume so, because of the fact you can break your contract. Because if I remember correctly, right here, see this? There is a review in, I don't know. I genuinely don't know. I was thinking you could, but this review isn't till 14th of February is when it starts. Review is at the end of the season. I actually don't know. I very well could be wrong. So we're going to have to kind of see a bit more on that. Here's your driver ratings graph. So you see, obviously, you got your experience, your racecraft, awareness, pace, focus, and then your overall driver rating. And you see how they change over time for every Grand Prix throughout the season, which is pretty cool. And then you can see all the drivers. So here's all the new driver models in the game. So these ratings are not final. I was made sure to be aware of this. These are not final. They will be different for the actual release of the game. So we're not really going to look at it too much. But I did find, where was he? Where's Logan Sargent? Oh, he's a 70 rated, while the next lowest is 80. Poor guy. And then you got the whole pool of F2 drivers that you can see. I'm really wanting in the future, I really want to see a larger pool of drivers. Like F3 drivers, F1 Academy, or whatever it's called. Is it F1 Academy or just F Academy? I can't remember. But like, you don't even have to put the cars in the game, but just have that pool of drivers that can like come up and go into the sport would be like really cool. And then this all looks the same, but you will notice at the bottom here, you see there's an eyeball icon. I don't know if you guys, yeah, you can't see it. So there's an eyeball icon. Basically, that is, and it'll go on one of these 4 boxes, and then it'll show Leclerc's name, and that basically tells you where his focus is at in developing the car. Because when I go in the R&D in progress, I have an upgrade going right now. And then Leclerc, he's got an upgrade, a major upgrade currently that he's focused on for durability. And then you see the progress of the team so far in season number 1 that I've just basically simulated the whole time. This all looks the same. This is nothing new. And then the season results, blah, blah, blah. And, oh, look at this, guys. The ribbons look different in trophies. That's the big change this year. But, yeah. I agree. I would love to see, it is F1 Academy, okay. I want to see F1 Academy, F3 drivers, just to give us more pool of drivers to kind of allow to come in. So I just wasted so much time talking about that because there is a lot to kind of dive into with this career mode, which is a good problem to have, obviously. So now that we're going into the weekend, you can see that Leclerc is now focused in, or he's interested in, and he's currently in the powertrain, and he's interested in this one right here. And I'm going to snag that from him. Sorry, Charles. That's mine now. And he's got 2 more of these. He's added another durability upgrade. And now we'll go into the race weekend. Oh, your own driver academy. That'd be a really cool idea. For my team. What felt better at the beginning? Or do you mean in terms of driving or in like actual career mode features? Because in terms of like driving, F124 felt better at the beginning and it still feels better now than F124. But in terms of like content and career mode, definitely F124 feels better. So F124 career mode. I'm not going to spoil much. The car is blue that I'm going to be on. There's a whole storyline. I will spoil a little bit. There was a custom team that came into F123 career mode that is going to play a significant role in the F124 career mode, like way more significant of a role. Like for the probably first from, if modding works out, from season 2, 3, 4, 5. I have a whole storyline planned out. I've got the prologue all planned out. I haven't recorded a single ounce of anything, but I got it planned out. It's ready. But essentially, I kid you not, I've got probably the first 3 to 4 seasons of F124 career mode already planned on how the story, at least, is going to shake up. Obviously, it could change based off of my performance, but we'll see. And then you come into the race weekend now, and these people are staring you down. Look at this guy. They just, I mean, look at her. That is scary. She is just staring me down. Fiki may or may not have nailed that perfectly with Trackhouse there. That's the kind of impression I have, Zroski. Yeah. And then, nothing's really different in here. I really wish, like, when you overhaul this career mode, could you not at least put in the effort to change the design of this stuff? It's like you did a good job of adding these new additions and features, but you couldn't be bothered to at least make this look different and overhaul too? Was that too much to ask? I don't know. So I'm allowed to show any track in career mode. We got about half an hour left. How far should we sim in to get to a track? What track should we try to get to here to try and run in career mode? Singapore is so late now. Baku's all the way down there. Let's just start simming. Unfortunately, when there's a sprint weekend, you cannot just sim through the race. You got to sim through the sprint, and then you got to go into qualifying, and then you got to sim the race. So it's really annoying, but we're going to have to do it anyways. So I was wondering that too. Like, shouldn't the Haas car have a white line? It's going to be like last year for F2. I'm thinking of doing it in a little bit more in depth for the prologue, because there's going to be a prominent figure in the F124 career mode. I don't want to spoil too much, but the card number kind of gives it away that I've been running. So as well, after the race, you get a deep dive into everything. If you simulate the race or not, you get a deep dive into basically where you gained or lost ratings. So this race, we lost 250 points on pace. So you open the details and it tells you basically, okay, here's why you lost that qualifying position versus expected negative 12 positions. So I lose 250 points for that. So at least you can see where you're losing and gaining everything. So it's not just like, oh, why did I lose this? Why did I gain this? It actually at least tells you. Oh, and I needed to mention, as I see PMT's comment, I'm really disappointed that they've added these new things and these ratings and stuff, but they have not added a section where I can go in and see career mode or career stats of other drivers. Why can I not see career stats of other drivers? I want to see Max Verstappen's career develop, and I want to see his AI pass, 70 wins, 80 wins, and Hamilton going for an 8th championship, and I want to see those stats build, but they don't have that. And I'm like, it just irks me a little bit. So, however, I got good news about that. So since they were too lazy to do it themselves, I'm going to manually do it in my career mode. So you guys will see me manually keeping track of not every stat, but all your typical driver stats. So I'll keep track of their wins, their poles, their podiums, as well as starts, things like that, because I think that will be a cool way to develop more story in the game. So yeah, I think it's going to be a cool little addition. It'd be pretty simple. It'll just be a Google sheet that I do it all in. So then there's like career accolades that not only we're going to be building towards, but as well the AI drivers. And then when they have these big moments, example, Verstappen wins his 75th race of his career, and it happens in the career mode. We have this big moment around it, this big story around it at the end of the race. So I think that'd be kind of cool. We're not going to bother with Miami, so we're just going to simulate through that. I do agree with the team orders. I think it would be cool if they added it, and it, like you said, it did affect your rating if you followed the team orders or not, because the reality is, as much as we hate it, it's quite a prominent thing in Formula One, and I'd imagine they wouldn't want to add it because of the fact it's just kind of frowned upon, but it is such a normalized thing in F1 to where I feel like it should kind of have, it does have a place, in my opinion, in the game to affect your reputation. As well, another thing, I'm happy with what they've done with this career mode, but there's still things I really want to see. There should be, I don't feel like, from what I've seen so far, you can have secret meetings with other teams and contracts and kind of build on them. But from what I'm seeing, not everything your reputation can't get affected as much as it should, in my opinion. And there should be a genuine reputation situation where there's more media involvement as well, to where your reputation with the media can develop how you are respected within the sport of Formula One, how the fans like you, or they hate you, you become a villain of Formula One, or if you become loved by the fans. There should be kind of like a system of that. And then, like, yeah, the reputation with the teams, I think, still needs to be expanded on significantly, which just hasn't happened in this game, but I'm hopeful in the future it does. So here you see now we come out of Miami. Look at all the upgrades that Leclerc's got going. Leclerc's got gearbox, MGUK. He's got now watch the weekly resources. So because Leclerc has really quick, where is it? Leclerc has 74% recognition in the team versus my 26. So look at the difference it means in the R&D points per week. Leclerc pulls in 222. I pull in 78. That also doesn't help that I did simulate the weekend. But yeah, it kind of gives you an idea. So yeah, I heard modding is very possible, which I'm glad to hear. I am curious though, how does anti-cheat play a role? Is that going to affect it much? I'm very curious on. Like, is there a workaround? Does that have to be disabled? But yeah, once modding, and have you been given access to the whole game? Not yet, from the sound of it. Very soon I will be. But yeah, mods are going to be interesting, and I think, I would imagine with everything looking the same this year, it's going to be pretty quick to get modding up and going. So I'm excited for that, because I have a big storyline that I want going in Season 2, and I would not want to stall it any further than that. So I'm hoping mods are really quickly up and going and rolling so we can kind of... Lewis Hamilton won in Imola. Okay. Yeah, I think you're right. We won't be able to play online, so it'll be okay. But we'll see. Basically, if you can get online, just don't, because you don't want to get banned. That'll be the goal there. So we got about 25 or so minutes before we have to call it a stream for what I'm allowed to show you guys. So I'm going to try my best to simulate as far as I can to show you some of these slower speed tracks and kind of show how this is developing as the season goes on. We're not really going to worry too much about upgrading our car, but as you can see, as this first season's going on, teams are, as usual, as expected, with such a bare minimum start to the R&D. They're all rapidly upgrading. And Aston Martin, they've brought a pretty nice one, actually. Let's at least let's see. I'll just get a recommended upgrade. Actually, I can't even afford one. Okay. While Leclerc, he's got one of them going. Regan Farmer, how you doing?
Okay, mate. I know we were expecting some new developments to come through, but
Monaco. Do you guys want me to try Monaco here in career mode? They have confirmed it's going to be changing Fiki, so we'll be okay in terms of that R&D with the way it's lined up currently. All right, let's give Monaco a shot. Like I said, I'm not sure why. Let's just jump straight into a race. But I'm not sure why we're not allowed to show these tracks in Grand Prix mode or time trial, but we were given full permission to try these tracks in career mode, like for content. This kind of feels odd. But yeah, it's weird. But let's try out Monaco here. Yeah, Mercedes is way too quick currently. They need to be slower. But yeah, I imagine they'll have it pretty tied down in where it needs to be. And when does the game come out? The 28th for early access, right? So that's, wow, that's only 6 days from now. Hamilton won again. Oh no, I simulated the race. Oh my god, I'm stupid. Oh no. Can I alt F4 here? I didn't mean to do that. I wanted to do the race. Hold on. Quit the game, please. Did that just work, or did I just do something? Oh, okay, I just quit the game. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to actually do the race. I'm hoping we can still do it. That'd be really awkward if we just were like, hey, let's do this race, and then I accidentally simulated it. That's a going moment right there. I haven't done enough testing to see that, Ampa, to where if some teams are excelling at some tracks versus not excelling at other tracks. The Hamilton domination might bore fans. I'm buying the Red Bull team, TR. No, not quite. I'm not going to do that. There will be a ownership storyline, though, at some point in the F1 career mode. As well, I don't think I was recommended I should upload the first season of F1 24 career mode every single day to get the first season out, because it's better for bringing in more subscribers, I was told. Personally, I don't think I'm going to roll with that, because I feel like uploading it every single day is just going to take away from the actual quality, and I prefer quality videos over quantity. So I'm not going to be uploading it every single day, but we're going to definitely get it out quickly. Okay, yeah, I screwed this up. I'm sorry. I simulated Monaco. You guys don't get to see Monaco. We will just jump into another track. Let's just go to the first lower speed track we can find here. Let's take a look once we can get through this. Yeah, I didn't realize it's already May 22nd, so I need to get F1 23 career mode done ASAP. And like I said, it should be done this weekend then. Secret meeting. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Let's go. So I had already had a secret meeting that I showed in the video showcase. So we come in. It was with one guy originally. Now it's with a whole group of dudes here. They're like, hey, how you doing? You see the performance, and now this is new. I hadn't seen this before. Their development. So it's showing their success rate, 68%, how many upgrades they've applied. That's actually pretty cool. Average time to complete these upgrades, 15 days. And then it shows you their current performance on the left with the constructors, the points, how Max is doing, how Sergio's doing, their best finishes of the season, blah, blah, blah. And then, of course, you can show your current team. So Ferrari's got a 3% higher success rate. They've done 7 less upgrades, and it takes an average of 1 day sooner to complete upgrades. And then you see the performance difference as well. Just for the fun of it, we'll continue the talks. And the idea of continuing the talks with the team is literally me getting up out of my chair and walking out of the room.
And I'm delighted to say that the
But it's
team
still
is none
cool.
the wiser about us chatting with anyone else. And the meeting went well.
No,
too. I know.
that's where it doesn't make sense.
amazed.
I'm not allowed to show any other tracks aside from Jeddah, Qatar, Spa, and Silverstone in Grand Prix mode, but in career mode I'm free to show any track. I'm just not allowed to do more than one season. It don't make sense to me, but that's what it is. The stream, yeah, I'll keep the stream up as a video. It should just be right on the homepage or in the live section. Like, I'm not gonna like edit it into anything. It'll just stay up as the way it is. Let's go to Canada. Get through Canada. We could drive Canada. Should we drive Canada? There's some slow corners around Canada that we can kind of, yeah, and it's my home race. So, oh, it's gonna rain. We won't do the whole, okay, we'll just skip into that. Can I change? Let's do like 5 laps. Let's just skip into the race and do it. And then we'll see. Yeah, there's some slower speed corners. I'm thinking about the hairpin, of course, before the DRS straight as well. Yeah, Canada's not the greatest in the last game. I don't mind it, though. I'm biased because, you know, home track, so there's going to be some bias there. I love the circuit. But it's... Montreal doesn't feel as fun as it used to be in previous games. But you know what I'm very curious about? My favorite track is Singapore. It'd be really nice if it was dry, because we get a better idea, but I talked about it earlier. The curbs are so forgiving in this game.
Okay, it's going to be tough to finish in the top half today. There's no major expectation on you, so just give it everything.
I will
That's
give
all
it
we
everything.
ask.
But the curbs are so forgiving, and as you guys know, you got the final chicane here in Canada, where the curbs have previously been very non-forgiving. So I'm curious how this is going to go. We are going to just basically intentionally ride over those curbs, and my game might crash right here. Maybe? Yeah, there it goes. So there's a bug in the current build of the game where the game will crash, as like the handling model does not sync to your wheel. It's really strange. And then I just have to restart the game and run it back, and then it'll be fine. But it's kind of annoying. I already know that'll be fixed for the final version, I would imagine, but... Tazzy Smaz 19, how you doing? Yeah, Canada's just, it doesn't have that fun level anymore when you're playing these newer games. I have a lot of fun in Hungary. That's a fun track to drive. I haven't tried it in this game, but I always enjoyed going there. It's not a great race. Hungary is similar to Monaco. It's really hard to pass, right? So, and it's represented quite accurately in the game as well. It's just passing. You just have such a short amount of time on that front straightaway to make a pass, and the way that final turn set up going onto the front straightaway, it's just really difficult to actually set up an overtake on the run into turn 1 in Hungary. Bowman fan, how are you? I'm doing well. Hope you're doing well as well. Let's try Canada again. We might only have time to get one more track in the career mode. I'm not going to do all the laps here. We're just going to do a lap or 2, and then we'll jump through to try and just squeeze one more in to the 2-hour limit. So let's just roll here. We don't care about setups. We just want to drive. Here we go. There we go. That feels back to normal now. I'm just gonna swing around here. Don't mind if I do. Honestly, the AI feels okay for not being final. You know, not great. Definitely, one thing I want to see out of the AI in this game that we didn't get in last game, there needs to be a bit more aggression. Like, there was a point in time in recent games where I felt like they were too aggressive, and now we've gotten to the side where it's not aggressive enough. And I'm hopeful that when this game actually comes out here in another week, we get a little bit more aggression out of these guys, because we definitely need more of that. Right behind Sargent, having a career run right here in the Williams. It actually feels okay so far. Let's run over the curbs. We're going to intentionally just try to annihilate these curbs. It's wet, so we can't do it to the maximum, but we're going to do it to the extent that we can. It does throw the car off. We can use a flashback, actually. And try it again. But it did throw the car off a bit, but it didn't feel like it threw it off, you know, enough. Let's try hitting the one on the right side here. Yeah, I don't know. It just feels... Just doesn't feel like it does enough to your car. Really slipping and sliding right there, but again, right there, that whole straightaway, just about the car was just sliding all over, but I was full throttle, able to kind of keep it under control the whole time. See that? That just, I don't like that. I do not like that. I barely had to lift right there. I just don't feel like, look at that. There's certainly some frustrations I have with this handling model. There we go. We can finally get it to go. But it felt okay. It felt okay in terms of actually driving the track. So, I mean, Canada's not a huge high or low speed corner track, so it's kind of hard to get an idea. But that is true. They used to love to do that, Ampa, which was more frustrating than them being less aggressive. So, but yeah, I think an aggression level adjustment would be a cool feature. You see that on a lot of racing games now. Even iRacing AI has an aggression level. Automobilista, Assetto Corsa, they all have aggression levels. So you got your normal rating, and then you have the aggression rating that you can give them. I think would be really cool to have. Is force feedback better? To me it feels, even with the changed handling model, to me the force feedback doesn't feel really different at all. That's just my experience so far. It feels pretty well the exact same. So I have seen some have been having issues with it, however. So some have definitely had a different experience than me, but I have not had anything out of the ordinary, and yeah, it's all felt the same. So what time is it? It's 2 p.m. So we can sneak in. Let's try to get to Hungary. Let's try to get to Hungary, because that is going to be a slow speed galore. So let's try to get there, and that'll be the final kind of test. I'm going to try to sim as quick as we can, because we got like a maximum here of 15 minutes that I'm allowed to show you guys. But that will be a good track with a lot of curbs as well. That will be a really good place to kind of showcase everything here. Welcome back, Zroski. Hello. My name is Gabri. How you doing? I agree 100% with you, Ampa. 100%. That's another thing I want to see, is there should be a uniqueness to the AI drivers to just add more personality to the game. Like Max Verstappen is far more aggressive than a Valtteri Bottas, and I want to see that represented in the game. Max Verstappen is quite literally willing to do anything it takes when he's under pressure from someone to stay ahead of that car. Whereas Lewis Hamilton, example, we think back to their 2021 battle. Hamilton's a lot more reserved and tactical versus Verstappen's a lot more reactionary and aggressive in those kinds of battles. So I'd like to see that accurately represented in the future. K-Mag's just a goblin to anybody, you know. I want to see him backing up the field for Hulkenberg. Reserve drivers would be kind of cool. I was thinking about a storyline where I kind of started the career where we got like a reserve driver opportunity, and then it kind of jumps into the career mode from that. That is a possibility. I could do that now that I think about it. Oh, no, it's a sprint weekend. So we gotta... Oh, this is so annoying. This is so annoying. We gotta go into the sprint. We gotta simulate the sprint. Then we gotta go into qualifying, retire from qualifying. Then we can simulate the race. But yeah, overall, what do you guys think about the career mode? It seems... What doesn't seem like it's an obvious step up. You can't really deny that. It's a good step up. Still more needs to be done. But it is, if they put this much effort into expanding career mode every year, or at least every 2 years at the bare minimum, but I think it should be every year, I'd be quite happy with that, because it's like, okay, we're making continuous progress. But my concern, like I said earlier, is this is like the last expanded career mode update we're going to get for 3 or 4 years again, which would just be extremely frustrating. So I'm hopeful that's not going to be the case, and they continue to work on it, because I think F123 was a big learning year for them, and they were like, oh, wait a minute, like, we kind of got it wrong with... They were trying to push F1 World. No one wanted that at the end of the day, and I think they realized that finally, which was good. Hamilton has been popping off here as we've been simulating these things. I'm going as quick as I possibly can here to try and sneak in this Hungarian Grand Prix, because I really want to try it here for you guys. We'll simulate the Grand Prix now. Yeah, it's good. It could be better. It's a very fair rating. I'm watching that time. We got like 10 minutes. From what I'm aware of, this is the final state. Like, there might be very minor tweaks, but the baseline of the handling is there, from what I am aware of. I've seen a lot of creators hating on it. I hated it at first. I am very in line of what they were feeling at the beginning of it, but once I was kind of stubborn. I was kind of stubborn at first. I was like, this is terrible. I'm not even gonna, I'm gonna hate this, and it just sucks, and it's not good. But then I kind of realized, it's like, well, maybe I should actually try to move on and like put an effort into understanding it and adapting to it. And once I kind of looked at it from a more outside point of view of not just being in my narrow-minded focus of just not wanting to change, it got better. But like I said already, there's things I'll praise about it, but I have still, if you were here, a significant amount of negative things to say about it, because it's still clearly, in my opinion, a step in the wrong direction in terms of the handling. But it's not as bad as it's being made out to be, for sure. Yeah, I'm really disappointed that they took out France. Wasn't there another track? Or no, it was just France and Portugal in F123, right? So they took out France. We don't have Portugal. Then we always get rumors of Hockenheim. And it never happens. I really want to see Hockenheim again in an F1 game. There needs to be something like let's bring some classic tracks into these games and allow us to put them into the career modes. It just adds more life to the career mode, more variability into the calendar. There needs to as well be a calendar, an option. We shouldn't have to have mods to edit the calendar in whatever way we want. I think if Codemasters, 5 years ago, was able to find a way to have roster moves, there is no excuse as to why we can't have freedom in changing the calendar to be whatever order we want. We have just enough time to go into Hungary here. So I'm going to do just practice session because I want to kind of be on the track by myself to test this out. Because Hungary is going to be... This honestly might be the best track to really see how it feels on a low speed track because there is so many low speed corners here. So let's dive into it. Oh, what is this?
Welcome back, and as you can see,
Hello.
the paddock is a hive of activity behind us. More action though going on behind closed doors because
oh no,
we are in the middle of
did they figure out my secret meetings here?
Speculation everywhere as to where the drivers will move around the grid. Tell me from a driver's perspective, just how distracting is this?
It is a distraction, and it has been up until this point in the season, especially when you're outside of the
I had no idea this was in the game.
Once that helmet
this
goes
moment.
on and the visor's down, it's back to business as usual, and that's when you see it all melt away. You're in the car doing what you do best. But yeah, certainly out of it, you sometimes see it boil over. Drivers
This is cool.
Strong words to say to each other after some moments on track because it is such a stressful environment.
A huge mind game for all of the drivers. We're having secretive meetings.
Secretive meetings are mentioned.
What is exactly being said though? Give us a level of insight.
So if you're not performing, obviously, you know, we're in a very brutal world in Formula 1 where...
Yeah, the only way you can lose your contract is, from the sound of it, if you dip below the rating that you... It said we need to be at a 61 or something like that. So if we go below that, they'll fire us. But I think it's only at the end of the season. So, like, you still can get fired, but yeah, it's just kind of not in the fashion of it. Wow, they like to talk, huh?
And then on the flip side, if you're having a great season, you might be the one having secretive talks with other teams that are performing better than your own team.
Okay, well, we're nearly out of time, so I'm going to send you to the comments.
Oh, here we go. Okay.
We're going to get ready for today's Grand Prix.
Hey, that was cool. I hope there's more moments like that throughout the career mode. I bet there isn't. Maybe something at the end of the season, but that's kind of cool. I like that. K09, how you doing? All right, let's dive into Hungary immediately because we only have a couple of minutes. So let's get in, run a couple laps, and see what a slow speed, slow corner track brings to us here.
The Hungara ring awaits. Practice awaits. Our drivers
Oh, look at
will be
this.
getting ready
Natalie's
to
doing the
begin.
practice here.
Plenty to learn and refine.
Okay. Or did she always do practice? Or am I stupid? Wasn't it? Now I'm confused. I thought, did she do practice before, or was it still Crofty? Or is that completely new? I have no idea. Let's just go on the racetrack.
I've had a chat with the R&D
That'd be cool, a
team.
little pop-up. Something, like a little cutscene, or even when there's like a driver retirement announcement. She never did? Okay, so that is new. Or is it? I don't know. I'll be playing F123 tonight, and I'll know that... Oh, no. The game crashed. Hurry up, hurry up. Let's get it rolling. We got just enough time. We can get back in and showcase this. Crofty is in the game, yeah. He does the qualifying and race stuff and whatnot, so. Yeah, the game likes to crash there, which is just thrilling. Not the timing we were looking for, but we got just enough time to sneak in a lap or two, as long as we can get loaded in here. I appreciate everyone being here, checking out F124 with me. Fun time. Overall, like I said, I got my critiques, but I'm still content, at least, with what we've been playing. How many times? I think it's crashed twice, right? Driver's press conference. Yes. Absolutely. That should 100% be in the game. And that would be a great way to segue to your team reputation in terms of you answering media questions about your team or your on-track rivalries with another driver. That would be another good opportunity to have your rivalry with a driver affected in a good way or a negative way. All right, let's go. Here we go. Our laps around Hungary. We only have time for like 2 laps maximum, and then we have to stop the stream because that's all I'm allowed to show is 2 hours. So, all right, we're good. Let's see how she feels on a slower circuit. On the hard tire. This is my first time driving here, so, because previously I had only been driving the tracks that I could show in time trial and Grand Prix. A lot of grip, definitely a lot of grip. Get down to 4th, maybe down to 3rd a little bit there. Woo! A little bit too much. So there's 2 death curbs that we know of. Let's just hop over this one on the left side here and just see. Doesn't really do anything. We'll get right here. I couldn't even get the car to turn in there. We'll come around one more time. I got enough time for one more lap. Let's just hop these curbs. Just go over them. Yeah, I don't like that. Too forgiving. It just needs to be... It doesn't need to be too consequential, you know, for running those over, but it definitely needs to have a consequence, and it just doesn't really have a consequence to it right now, and I want to see that changed. And not next game, this game, it needs, in my opinion, to be changed. At least that's my opinion. I'll be honest. It doesn't feel that bad. Like, it is snappy. It's got that snappiness to it. But it's... overall, running a lap around here feels better than I expected it to. I mean, my expectation was pretty low for a track like this. But it's not... Like, I can definitely work with it, basically. It's still not as good as F123, at the end of the day. It's just not as good, but... I mean, that curb throws you off a little bit there. We go over here. Okay. There was a bit of punishment there. It did not like me on that one. But yeah, I mean, I just vaulted over that curb, and I was on the track, no problem, and we were good to go, so... But that's pretty well all I'm allowed to show now. We've hit the 2-hour limit, basically. We'll just come around this corner and we'll call it there. But that, I would say, I would kind of say, yeah, it kind of feels like it's more over to a arcade side. Do different cars feel different from what I have seen so far? The cars feel pretty well the same, but I'm not really in a good place to justify, with my experience level in the game, I'm not really in a good spot to justify that. So just take what I said there with a very small grain of salt. But that's all I'm allowed to show. So we'll switch back over here to the other camera, and we'll just kind of talk for a moment, and then we're going to call it a day. What am I trying to do here? There we go. Hi, guys. How you doing? But yeah, the red bar, we still don't know what the red bar is. We spent a portion of the stream trying to figure out. We couldn't actually figure it out. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I hope they have a rivalry system where if you do something bad to your rival, that driver will be more aggressive to you. I'm hoping the same. And I think there might be a system of that because we did see different intensity levels of the rivalry. So I'm hopeful that they have something along those lines because that would be a really nice addition. But yeah, I mean, those curbs, I mean, you saw, I mean, that chicane there. That's one of the rougher curbs in the game, and I just vaulted that thing and did not crash. So, but the corner before, the death hairpin that we all know, it didn't wreck the car, but it got pretty close to wrecking the car. So there's a little bit of a consequence. But yeah, you can certainly, as Zroski, you're saying, you can kind of just abuse the curbs to whatever extent you want. And yeah, I don't care for that personally. I want some consequence there. And like I said as well, when the rear end slips out, it's quite easy to catch. And what else was there? That's pretty well it, I think. Yeah, those are like my two things that I was kind of talking about when it comes to the forgiveness of the handling model. Are there new avatars for a custom driver? I didn't see any when I was scrolling through, but I spent extremely limited time scrolling through, so I can't really confirm. But is tire temps a factor? I would say in terms of tire wear it is, because I noticed when I was showcasing earlier in the stream and in my newest video that went out, when you do the aggressive handling style where you're doing zero wheel input and then you go into a corner and you just do that instead of your gradual turn in, you're just hooking it. The tire temps shoot through the roof when you're doing that, and that leads to more tire wear. Overall, you're dropping off lap time later in the run. So I would say tire wear does play a factor. In terms of like grip, I mean, I wasn't really overheating the rear tires no matter what I did. So I couldn't really get an idea if that had an effect on grip or not. Yeah, I mean, overall, I'm happy. I would say I'm excited to do a career mode on the game still. That was what my concern was I was going to play this game, and I was not going to be happy, and I was not going to look forward to doing a career mode. Instead, I am just as excited as I previously was to make a career mode, so I'm happy with that at least. How much did your wheel cost? This was an amount of money that I don't remember, that I'm going to go up on their website right now, Moza Racing. Oh my god, I spent a lot more than I thought I did. Actually, I reached out. I don't know if I should say this, but I don't care. I reached out to Moza like a week ago. I was like, hey, you guys want to, like, I don't know, work on a partnership together in some way or some form? We can maybe make something happen. They respond. They were like, no, we're not working with you. I'm like, all right, I appreciate it. I tried. This wheel, so this base here, can you guys even see the base? You can see the top of it. This is the R12 base. By the way, I put way more money than any of you need to bother to put into it. I suck just as bad on this as I did before on a way cheaper one. In USD, this is currently $589. So in my currency, that was probably like $750 in Canadian for me. The wheel currently is 929 USD on Advanced Sim Racing's website. So that means definitely over 1,000 in Canadian. So basically just a little under $2,000 Canadian for the wheel and the base. The shifter here, I got this like a month ago. No, it'd be like 2 months ago. That was 175 Canadian. So, and then I have the stand here. I have no idea what I spent on this. I don't remember. But basically, just imagine there's probably, with my pedals as well, which are Thrustmaster pedals, T3PA, there's probably $3,000 Canadian in my setup here, which is far more than you need to do. So you don't need to spend as much as I did. I did it more of like, I was like, well, I'm going to put the work in with the setup to kind of pay it off in the long run. So that's kind of the idea of it. Is the EA Play 10-hour version out on Xbox? I would imagine not until the actual release. Oh, I'm sure the mods are going to be great. I'm looking forward to that. So, like Seb's 2013 driving style. Speaking of Sebastian Vettel, there is the spoilers is, how many people are here? A lot less people than earlier, so I can kind of spoil for the career mode. Sebastian Vettel will have like an AI Sebastian Vettel will have a presence in the majority of the like prominent storyline of prologue and for a good chunk of our F124 career mode. So stay tuned on that. He's gonna have like a agent mentor aspect and like almost like someone that's like hyping me up to get a ride in F1, and it'll kind of go from there. And then I'm going to use his number, so we're going to be number 5 in the career mode and expand from that point on. But yeah, and season 2 is already sorted. I already know how that's going to work out as long as the modding situation is fine. So we'll be driving a blue car in season 1, and if everything goes right with modding, we'll be driving a blue car in season 2, and probably 3, 4, and 5, maybe 3 and 4. But I got a cool story. I'm not going to spoil anymore because I don't want you guys to know about it because it's going to be really cool. You got your Mosa like 3 weeks ago and you're really struggling with the force feedback settings. So you're on a direct drive, I would imagine then. And when you're on a direct drive, it took some time for me to get used to because, yeah, it feels significantly different from a normal like force feedback wheel. But once you get it, and you're going to be in good shape. It's just practice. You got to put in the practice. But fine tune some stuff to where you can find like a comfortable spot. The tea has been spilt. It has been spilt. I'm gonna get up and come over here and basically call it a stream, guys. And yeah, we showed the 2 hours of the game. I got 2 videos out. This is going to be staying up as a video, so you guys can continue to watch this if you want after and come back to it. But I didn't even know I had the chat coming up on this screen. Holy crap. When did I do that? Say hello to Malop. While you try to mod the 2026 regs into career, if there is a way, absolutely. I like to have those kind of things line up, so yes, that would be the goal. But let's go into there. We're going to call it here. I appreciate you guys coming in. I hope I didn't accidentally show something that I wasn't supposed to. But as far as I'm aware, looking at the stuff, I think I showed everything that I was allowed to show. So hopefully I don't get in trouble. But I think we're okay. So yeah, appreciate you guys being here, watching the stream. And yeah, kept it as honest as I possibly could with my feelings and thoughts on the handling model and whatnot and career mode and stuff. And yeah, I'm curious and excited for the career mode. And I hope you guys are excited as well. That's going to wrap it up for me. I'll have some more videos coming out, not on F124 this week, but other stuff. F123 career mode will be ramping up this week. F1 2014 will be coming out hopefully tomorrow or sometime towards the end of the week. But yeah, thank you guys. Thank you so much for popping in on this first stream on the Formula Owen side of YouTube. I appreciate you very much, and I'll see you guys hopefully in the coming future. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.